Welcome to Scholar Opportunity Nexus, and in today's series of videos, we'll be continuing with what we started with, that's the types of vectors. So the next vector type of vector that we would look at is the unit vector. The unit vector. So basically, when they say something is unit, it means it's alone. It means it's one, or it's alone, or it's a whole one. So in math, units mostly means one. So a unit vector in this case is a type of vector that has a magnitude of one. Let's take this. Let's say this is vector A. For us to say that this vector is a unit vector, it means the vector has a magnitude of one. So it has a magnitude equal to one. That's a unit vector. The next vector that we'll look at is the null vector. The null vector. And when you say something is null in basic English, it means there's nothing there, or empty, or void. So in math or in physics, the meaning of null is basically zero. So a null vector is a vector that has a magnitude of zero. Yes. Let's still take a. So the magnitude of this vector is zero, meaning is the vector is just having a direction magnitude of zero. Another type of vector that I would like to talk about is the inclined vectors. Okay. Sorry, the inclined vectors. So for inclined vectors, they are vectors that are inclined at an angle other than 0 degrees. In this case, we would have, let's take a vector going in this direction and another vector. So they are inclined at an angle which is greater than 0 degrees. And this type of vector is called an inclined vector. Our next look will be a co our next look will be a coterminous vector. When they say something is terminal, means that's the end or terminate. Normal English, terminal or terminate means it's at the end or it's at the last part. So and co means just cooperation or two things cooperating together, right? So a coterminous vector, let me write it. Coterminous, coterminous vectors rather. So coterminous vectors are vectors that end at a common point or they end at the same point. So let's say this is vector A going like this, starting from here, and then this is the ending point of vector A, and vector B is going like this. And this is its ending point. So these two vectors will be called coterminous vectors because both of them are ending or are coming to the same point. They are ending at the same point, and hence they are called coterminous vectors, which is a type of vector. Our next one, co-initial co-initial vectors. Same as the coterminous vectors, co-initial meaning initial, which means starting or previous, starting. So co-initial vectors, there are two vectors that um, not necessarily two vectors, but they are vectors that have the same starting point. They all have the same starting point. Let's take, let's give an example. So this is vector. This is vector A. You see this vector A. It's going like this. And vector B is also, let's see, going like this. These two vectors are starting from the same point, and hence they are called co-initial vectors. Two vectors or type of vectors that start from a common or same point. Another vector that I would like to look at, let's put it here. Sorry, I think I should move to the next. Move to the next slide. Another vector that would look at is another vector that we'll look at is the collinear vectors. So collinear vectors. This type of vectors are vectors that are in the same line. Vectors moving in the same line. They are called collinear vectors. See, this is moving like this, and this is also moving like this. So these are collinear vectors. They are moving in the same line. They are going in the same line. So we can with this we can see that a co-terminal and co-initial vector can be a collinear vector. Let's see these two vectors. One is coming like this. That's the end point. And another one, my bad. So let's say a coterminous vector is a collinear vector. So one vector is ending at this point. And another vector is also coming from here and ending at this point. But they are all in the same line. So in this case, they are collinear vectors and also coterminous vectors. The same applies to co-initial vectors. Let's take two vectors. One moving in this direction, starting from here, and another also moving in the same, moving on the same line. So this is vector A, this is vector B. They are all starting from the same point and they are all in the same line. And even though they are collinear vectors, they are also co-initial vectors. Yes. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope to see you in our other videos. If you've not subscribed to Scholar Opportunity Nexus, subscribe now.